Hey guys, Stone7 here, and very excited today because today is Minecraft Dungeons release day, but we will get to that later and check that out on stream. But for today's video, not going to be focused on Minecraft Dungeons yet. It's going to be another Apex video, and this is one that I feel like I do every season, maybe like sometimes even like twice a season if there's like a mid-season rebalance. So this is something that pretty much always go through in Apex, always have to update it every few months with the new seasons. And that is my legend rankings, and I went through these pretty quickly and tried to do them intuitively, just not like overthinking this as much as I possibly could, and yeah, just going straight off the brain of like, all right, this is what I think, this is where I think this legend should go, this is where I think this legend should go. Like I wasn't mapping things out, okay, I wasn't literally like pro-conning, listing all this stuff. I was mostly just going based off of what I've played so far in Season 5, fresh off the brain, and not, like I said, not overthinking it. So with that being said, could I change some of these later on in the season, or later on, like even after I post this video? May I rethink some of them? Yeah, I could. And you know, maybe things in the meta change throughout the season. Maybe I want to change some of these because of that. That could totally happen. That's very realistic. There could be another balance update. Many things could happen, but as of right now, like beginning of the season, this is what I'm going with right off the top of my head. So number one, and this might be the most contested that number one has ever been for Wraith losing out on number one. So yeah, spoiler alert, it's Wraith. I pretty much like always go with Wraith at number one, and that's pretty much been like not really that contested so far. Like I've been pretty confident with putting Wraith at number one like every season. This was probably the closest that it's ever been, saying that I think the balance is getting closer and closer for the Legends. This is probably like the closest it's been, and the hardest for me to decide on Wraith number one. So the reasons why I still think Wraith is number one: her tactical ability is arguably the best tactical ability in the game as far as like survivability goes. It's at least up there. Her passive is extremely useful for ranked and pubs, just being able to know when a team is like maybe thinking about ambushing you. Extremely strong, very valuable. Her hitbox is insane. That's maybe the thing that Wraith will always have. I don't know if a character will ever... It'd actually be insane if they released a smaller character than Wraith. I don't even know if that'd be a good idea. But Wraith has the smallest hitbox in the game, and that's a very big contributor to her spot on the list. Like that'll be... I think they'd have to nerf her so hard and get really creative with it to make Wraith really bad with how good her hitbox is. Like that'll pretty much always make Wraith good. And then the ultimate ability too, the portal, one of the best abilities for rotations, for safely rotating in the game. So just all around very strong character, and I had some thoughts about dropping her out of number one, but in the end decided that should keep her there. I still think she's worthy of the crown for the King Legend of Apex, at least for now. If more nerfs come in for low profile characters and stuff like that, then maybe she'll get dethroned next season. But as far as right now, I still think Wraith is at the top. So we got to keep rolling through these because there's a lot. Number two is, and already people that haven't been playing Apex probably going to be surprised here, Caustic. And when I was thinking about taking Wraith out number one, Caustic, I am serious, is the character that I was considering putting at number one for this current moment in Apex. And no, I'm not crazy. No, I'm not trolling. I genuinely think that Caustic is that good. And why is this? So like I already thought Caustic was a lot better with the buffs to the fat characters with the buffs to those characters. I forget what, like the thin legends are like low profile. Oh, fortified. Is it fortified? I think it might be fortified is what it is for like Gibraltar and Caustic. We'll just say that it's like the fortified characters. You know, I already thought that they got a lot better. And Gibraltar was already like top 3 last season, but some nerfs come into Gibraltar this season, and a big buff comes to Caustic, which is friendly teammates. There's also a bit of a nerf too, which I'll bring up in a second, but teammates are now able to walk through Caustic's gas and sprint through it freely, which is insane. So like Caustic's gas is already really annoying, and he's already got like the fortified buffs too, so you know he eats a lot of bullets. The gas is extremely annoying. It's got insane survivability value. And on top of that, now your teammates can freely run through the gas, which is absolutely nuts and makes Caustic borderline broken and OP. The thing that prevents him from being broken on console is that on console, I still believe, from what I've tested, you don't get aim assist. If you are Caustic, you get aim assist in your gas. But if you're Caustic's teammates and you're in your teammate Caustic's gas, you don't get aim assist, as far as I've tested so far, which is very important for console. It's extremely important, and that's a big reason why I think that Caustic is not that's a big reason why I think Caustic's like maybe not OP on console yet. Is that fact, the fact that you don't get that aim assist with your teammates, but on PC that is extremely powerful because the aim assist doesn't really matter on PC. So I don't know, maybe it's a different thing on different platforms, but that's the thing that's preventing Caustic from being up there. But yeah, so just to summarize, because I got to keep rolling through these, I got to speed it up here. Caustic's abilities are extremely annoying, extremely effective, and the fact that they combo with teammates now makes him pretty powerful. He also got a slight nerf in that, like, when the gas is on the other side of a door and you walk near the door, it doesn't trip now, which is like a slight nerf, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Like, most of the times you break the door and it ends up tripping anyways, so it doesn't really matter too much. Alright, so number 3, Gibraltar. I don't have to say too much about Gibraltar because I think we know why. Like, his abilities, his dome shield, his gun shield, and his ultimate as well are some of the best like team fight abilities in the game. Is Gibraltar the strongest at 1v1s? No, maybe not. But even then, with his gun shield, he still has a ton of health and a ton of 1v1 capability because of that. So he can still hold his own very well in 1v1s. And again, I think his abilities are some of the best like team fight abilities in the game. So for those reasons, I put Gibraltar at number 3. Slight nerf this season, but still a very strong legend. Number 4, and this is where the decisions got really tough, in my opinion. Number 4, and honestly, like, number 4 through, like, 8 maybe are interchangeable. So this is where, if people disagree with the list, it's probably going to be, like, Caustic, and it's probably going to be, like, this 4 through 8. So 4, I had to think about it for a while, and, a lot of hype with a new legend and, like, how good is Loba actually. Decided to put her at number 4. And I think we had to wait for the hype to die down a little bit to like accurately rate Loba, and I think that number 4 is a pretty good spot. Reasons being, I think that her ultimate is extremely useful. Being able to get that loot that you can't necessarily find is extremely strong, and I've had it help me out plenty of times where like I probably wouldn't have found a select fire on my Prowler, but because of her ultimate, I find the select fire, and because of her passive too. Her passive is also extremely useful. Plenty of times that like there are purple shields I would have walked right by, and I get them because of her passive. So her passive and her ultimate are amazing. I wasn't really that excited about them going into like when I heard about Loba, when I heard about the character, I didn't think that those abilities would be that useful. I was completely wrong. Her looting abilities are extremely useful and just make the game a lot easier. Essentially, they make the game a lot easier, and I think that that's very useful. Like being able to fill out your loadouts and stuff, I think that's a very useful thing, and can honestly make the difference in some games, can win you some games in some fights. I think that her ultimate also has like fight potential too. Like most people don't use it mid-fight, but I think that there is potential there. People get used to Loba more and start experimenting more. I think that people will start to use her ultimate like mid-fight and use it for shield swaps and stuff like that. I think it has potential there, and yeah, it hasn't really been filled out yet. Her hitbox is solid, and rounding it out, her tactical ability is also very good. Like the teleport, I don't think the teleport is better than like Pathfinder's grapple or Wraith's tactical ability, but it is right up there. It's pretty well balanced, but it's still extremely useful. It's really good for getting away from sticky situations. That's mostly what it's useful for, in my opinion. It's an escape ability. I noticed a lot of people the first few days were misplaying Loba, in my opinion, and trying to use it offensively, and now people have gotten used to it and are now using it more defensively, which I think is generally the way you want to use it. Also, I think that it is also very good, like for taking high ground. High ground takes, extremely useful, can be good for that too. So yeah, I mean, just all around solid character and pretty well balanced too. I'd put her at like number 4 right now. Number 5, I'm gonna say Pathfinder. Pathfinder got hit with a pretty big nerf. If you guys aren't aware, grapple nerf, like 20 seconds more on the cooldown, insane. At the same time, Pathfinder still very strong. His grapple is still one of the strongest tactical abilities in the game for getting away or fighting people, getting in their face or getting out of their face, whatever you want to do with it, like getting to high ground, hiding, whatever you want to do with it. The grapple's still insane, even with the cooldown, although the cooldown does hurt quite a bit, which is why I put Pathfinder down to 5. I'd probably have him in the top 3 if it weren't for that nerf. So yeah, I think he's still very strong. I mean, Zipline's still one of the best rotational abilities, right there with Wraith's Portal in the game. And still like a kind of a wonky character to shoot sometimes. I think they've mostly fixed his hitbox now, but I don't know, I still notice Pathfinders are like weird sometimes. And a very useful passive ability too for ranked. So solid all around legend. Number 6, had a lot of difficulty placing this legend, but I decided to put Wattson at number 6. I thought that Wattson was better than Caustic for a while with the buffs to Caustic and the low profile nerf. I think the low profile nerf hit Wattson really hard. And I think they need to rethink it, because I don't think Wattson is as justified of like having the low profile characterization as like Lifeline or Wraith. And I think it hurts her a lot, and Wattson's just end up getting melted way more than they used to because of that low profile nerf from last season. If you guys aren't aware of it, what the low profile nerf was is that low profile legends, so Wraith, Lifeline, and Wattson, they don't you don't do limb damage against them. You do not do limb damage against them. You 100% of the time are always doing full like chest shot damage, even if you hit him in the foot, which is it hurt Wattson a lot. And I think that's why I put Wattson down to 6. But her abilities are still extremely strong, and she's still a really good legend. It's just because of that, I think I had to put her a bit farther down. Right behind Wattson, and like very competitive as well, like Wattson, Pathfinder, and number 7 Lifeline could all be interchangeable. I decided to put Lifeline at 7. I think that Lifeline would be in top 5 if they rework her ultimate. I think that Lifeline's hitbox is solid. I think that her tactical ability with the heal drone is solid. I think that her passive is amazing, like those extra, or sorry, that faster heals with her passive. A very, very strong passive abilities. As far as passive abilities go in the game, that's maybe the strongest. So she has, like, again, her tactical ability, her passive, or her hitbox, all of that is great. It's just that, like, all these other characters that I've listed so far have, like, pretty useful ultimates, and Lifeline's the first on the list that doesn't. I don't think Lifeline's ult is very useful, and I think that it's been made kind of redundant. I think that Loba's ultimate is just like flat out better 90% of the time. So I think that Respawn needs to, and I think they've already said that they're working on it, I think they need to rework Lifeline's ultimate, and then once they do that, she could work her way easily back into the top 5 for me. And the balance, also another thing, like 7 would have been pretty bad as far as previous Apex seasons. I don't think 7 is that bad now. I think the legends are pretty well balanced. They don't really get bad, and even then, like, they're not that bad until like 11, so we're getting there. Number 8, I'd put Revenant. Revenant got some really good buffs in the middle of Season 4, and I think that put him in a pretty well-balanced spot. Again, even though he's at number 8, I think Revenant's pretty well-balanced. I think that his ultimate is now pretty useful, a very strong ultimate for staying alive and like pushing teams a bit more freely. His tactical ability is great. Being able to cancel out like a character like Gibraltar's Dome Shield is extremely strong and can straight up just win you fights. His hitbox is not too bad now that they got rid of low profile off him. It's not that bad. And his passives are kind of a meme. I think that's why Revenant's maybe a little lower. Like, everything else pretty solid for him. His passives are kind of a meme. Like, the crouch walk and like, the climbing up surfaces higher. I honestly had to remind myself that's what it was for a second there. I almost forgot what Revenant's passive was. So, like, his passive, I think, is why he's a little bit lower than some of these other. For me, his passive's kind of weak. But his tactical ability is extremely strong, and his ultimate is solid, too. Number 9, I'm going to put Bangalore. I think that Bangalore is still, like, decent, but the smokes, I don't know, like, the smokes can help you, but they can also kind of hurt your teammates as well, which is maybe a reason why I put her here. Her ultimate is also just a worse version of Gibraltar's ultimate, and her passive ability is pretty good, like, that extra speed when you're getting shot at, pretty useful. I'm still fine with that, like, pretty decent passive, and her hitbox is okay, too, so, like, not too bad. Like, Bangalore's, like, pretty well balanced, but starting to get more towards like the lower side here. I think what would help Bangalore out a lot is changing her ultimate. Her ultimate is just kind of like dull, and again, it's just like a worse version of Gibraltar's ultimate. So if they could like rework Bangalore's ultimate to like maybe play into like her smoke character attribute or something like that, just like rework Bangalore a little bit, I think that would be cool. because right now current ult is just kind of boring and also not very good. Number 10, we're going to go Bloodhound. We got to finish these out. Number 10, we got to go Bloodhound. I think that Bloodhound, they made a lot better. He's a lot more balanced now, but there's still the fact of the matter that all of his stuff just reveals your location. So, like, it's nice to know where other people are, but it also reveals your location, and that's just, like, kind of tough. And also, you're just losing out on value if you're not running Bloodhound with a Bangalore, and Bangalore's not amazing either. So, like, having to run a Bangalore when you're running the Bloodhound is just kind of, like, I don't know. It's not great. But you want to do that to like maximize value. 11, I'm putting Crypto. The biggest thing for Crypto is that he counters Caustic pretty well, but other than that, I just don't think that Crypto's the best. The reason why, I don't think the drone is bad, but what the drone does is it keeps you out of the action, which is pretty bad most of the time. Like, not, especially like in duos, you only have one person, like not being in the fight with your teammate is pretty bad. So that's why I put Crypto at 11. I think that Crypto is really good for like people that are starting out at shooters or something like that, still be able to contribute to the game. But other than that, he's not very good. 12, I'm putting Mirage. They gave Mirage a big rework. He's a lot better now. He's still not that great of a legend. The reason why I put him so far down is because he still doesn't really help the team that much with his abilities. His abilities don't help the team. They're very self-focused, which is funny. It's fitting to his character, but that's why I put him so low. Like, he's hilarious. You can get some great outplays with him. He's pretty fun, but like overall, just like helping yourself and the team, he's gonna be a bit lower. 13, finally, last at the very end of the video here, Octane. Not much to say here. Octane is just like not very good. He needs a complete rework. He's supposed to be the fastest legend in the game, and he's not even that. Like, I don't know. Octane just kind of sucks. His hitbox isn't great. His jump pad is like kind of a meme. It's somewhat useful in some situations, but it's just not great overall. The stim ability kind of like messes with your screen and your FOV, so like it's not even that good. And even his tactical or his passive for like being able to regen health doesn't really help most of the time. It's more so just like a slightly convenient thing. So yeah, Octane needs a complete rework. Every other legend, even Mirage at 12, and even then, I might even change like Mirage and Crypto around. Mirage might even be better than Crypto. Maybe I should put Mirage at 11. I don't know. But even Mirage at 12, I think like not too bad. It's mostly just Octane. The balance is pretty good in this game now, even all the way down the list. It's mostly just Octane that needs like a big rework, and some of the other legends still need like some minor adjustments. But overall, the balance is really good this season, and they're finally getting that legend balance to a pretty good spot. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you next time. And let me know your thoughts on the legend, like your legend list and stuff like that in the comments. See you later.